My name is Lynn Brampton Lidkey, and I'm the Youth and Family Coordinator at St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church in Markham. And this is Last Week This Week, the video segment when we retell the youth message, just in case you missed it. And this is the youth message for Sunday, March the 1st. Now, we started out our youth message by asking the question, have you ever heard the word tempted or temptation before? And everyone said, yeah, I've totally heard that word before. And then I asked, could you describe it for me? And so there were lots of different answers that were given to help describe tempted and temptation. Then I took a moment and I showed everybody a box of crayons and a coloring book. And I asked, do you have crayons or pencil crayons or markers at home? And do you have coloring books at home? Now, maybe they're not little kid coloring books, but maybe they're older kid coloring books or some of the adult coloring books that are really popular right now. And everyone said, oh yeah, we've got those at home. And so I asked, well, what do you use your crayons for? And we heard things like, well, I color in the coloring books that I have at home, or I draw pictures on blank pieces of paper, or I have a sketchbook that I draw in. And so we figured out that drawing in our coloring books or in our sketchbooks or on plain pieces of paper was the right place to use crayons and coloring books and crayons, coloring pencils and markers. Using them in those books and on that plain paper was the right place to use them. There's no problem and there's no temptation. But then I asked, have you ever used those crayons, pencil crayons, or markers somewhere else? Did you ever color on a wall in your house? Did you ever give a table an update or a quick renovation? Did you ever color maybe on your bed frame? Now, if you thought about it and you really wanted to do it, then you were tempted. And I'm guessing when you were being tempted, you heard a little voice say, go ahead and color on the table, no one will notice. Or color on the wall, no one will think it's terrible, it's new art. Well, that is temptation at its best. And of course, if you did color on the wall or on anything else that you're not supposed to color, then your temptation was over and you kind of gave in. But if you stopped yourself, then you were only tempted. Jesus was tempted, and we know of the account where Jesus took 40 days and went off into the wilderness and fasted. And during that time, the devil or Satan came to see him, and he tempted Jesus 3 times. And each of the 3 times, Jesus listened, and he said, no. So in addition to this past Sunday being Communion Sunday, it is also the first Sunday in Lent. And Lent is the season when we remember Jesus going into the wilderness for 40 days. And so we too practice either giving up something or adding something to our lives during that season. And so during our youth messages, we decided that for the season of Lent, we were going to add our memory verse for the month of March. And so I'll read that and share it with you. And it is, if I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you too must wash each other's feet. And that's taken from John 13:14. And so as we go through the remaining Last Week This Week series, we're going to end all of our little video segments with that memory verse, which is our memory verse for the month of March. And I hope that during this Easter season, you won't be just resigned to watching our youth messages online, but that you'll think about coming out and joining us during this incredible Easter season, as well as through the rest of the year. But for now, this is Last Week This Week for March the 1st.